Hi everybody, I'm doing a tutorial on how I made my journal cover. This is made with a bunch of scraps of fabric, so don't throw away your scraps. You're going to want to save when you use scraps for making projects. You know, even if it's thread, whatever you want, I would save it. I've used ribbon, I've used other thin fabrics that I really had no use for, so I'm going to show you how I made this. So here's the other side. You know, this is kind of it's a wraparound cover that I'm making, so you don't want to cover the other side with the solid looking fabric. At least I don't. Keep in mind what you want both sides to look like. I wanted it more scrappy. I wanted it to look kind of like the same, but it was my first one, so I didn't think about what to put on the other side. You know, some people like a solid color, and that's fine, but I wanted it to look more scrappy on both sides. So you're gonna need water soluble topping. I'm gonna cut it to about 15 inches wide, and it's 10 inches in length. So I'm cutting, you're gonna need to cut 2 pieces. But for now I'm cutting one, and I'm going to put it right here where everybody could see it. So here are all my tiny scraps, and then some not so tiny. I have some ribbon, and I have some fabric here as well that I think I'm just going to cut chunks of it and put in there. I want it to be a little more thicker than this one, than the last one I made. So yeah, here's all my pieces. You might want to use lace as well. I mean, definitely would be a nice addition, is to put some more lace in there. I don't, let me grab some real quick so I can put a little bit of chunks of lace like this. I'm just gonna cut some chunks, and keep in mind I'm not using a whole lot. Here we go. So I'm gonna go ahead and start piecing it together, and you'll see how it goes. And so I'm gonna put a piece of lace, a piece of ribbon there. I'm gonna put some fabric there, more fabric here. Oops. Here I have some pretty fabric with flowers on it, and some metallic kind, some muslin. This one has more of a blue theme. So my inspiration was this. This was my inspiration. I got this at Hobby Lobby at reduced price. So here I just decided to do a voiceover. I'm just continuing putting pieces of fabric over the water soluble film, and I just am letting y'all know, I mean, basically y'all can do whatever you want, be as creative as you want, and layer as much as you want as well, because you know, it depends on how thick you want it to come out. So I've not tried any batting in between, but that might be an option. But for now, I'm just using fabrics and putting them as thick as I can and layering them. Also, you can put them as however you want. You don't have to put them all nice and neat. You could just throw them on there, and that's it. So you're wondering, well, what next? What do you do with all these scraps? So the next thing, after I'm done putting all these scraps together, I'm going to use my sewing machine to sew everything together, and that's how the pieces of fabric stick together. On this portion, I do 2 separate portions, the front and the back. Right now I'm working on the outside cover, so I'm going to reverse the way I put the fabric soon, so you can see that I am working on the outside part. I also talk about types of things you can use, like cheesecloth, yarn, whatever you have and whatever you'd like to use to make your project. Last time I did mine, I left a lot of, I did it so big that I guess I didn't have enough fabric, that there was a few empty spots here and there. And I mean, it adds to, it definitely makes it look, I mean, it doesn't look bad, but if I would have made it smaller, I guess the fabric would have been thicker all the way around instead of having like empty spots. All right, so here we go. I am done decorating. And I mean, I put as many layers as I wanted to. You don't have to make it as thick as I did, or I don't know, maybe it's not even that thick, but you just put whatever you want, and you can use this fabric piece however you like. I'm gonna go ahead and cover it now with another piece of fabric. I mean, of this soluble, water soluble mesh. People use it for embroidering. You don't have to. You can get it at you can buy it online. You can get it at local sewing shops. I'm thinking Joann's probably carries a different brand, but same thing. This one's Floriani, but you can get a different brand. So here it is. Right now, this is the tricky part, I guess. I mean, at least this is where I struggle. So now I have to pin around just to make sure it sticks together for my next step, because I'm going to move it over to the sewing machine. And so I'm going to try to pin this as evenly as possible. Keep the fabric from falling out. And keep all the pieces together. So yeah, this is not so fun, this part right here. I don't like this part. So here in this part, I'm just trying to continuing to pin the water soluble mesh in between the fabric, basically sandwiching the fabric. And I also discussed the usefulness of a free motion embroidery foot and a walking foot. Those are usually used like for quilting. So those are pretty helpful and useful in this project. So this is what the final outcome is. Sorry, I'm using a camera stand now instead of what I normally use to record. And so this is what, when you're finished pinning it around, you'll have it all kind of, what do you call it? Just protected within, you know, stabilized between those two pieces of soluble, what do you call it? It's called soluble topping. So now it's all secure in there, so I'm going to get ready to sew. I'm going to turn off the camera and restart in just a second once I'm getting ready to record again. So I did want to show y'all these two tools that I use for the sewing machine, or the feet. I don't know what you want to call them. These are most helpful in this project and in quilting as well. And this one's just a fun little tool to use because you can kind of like embroider, make little designs however you want. It's a freehand embroidery foot. I believe that's what it's called. And these are the two that I will be using during this project. So I will come right back. On this portion right here, I fast forward again. Basically, I'm just trying to sew the pieces together between the water soluble topping. I'm just going around and around in circles, and then using different designs and different stitches. Also, you don't want to have too much space in between, so you want to try to get some of the lines as close as possible. I guess, like, depending on the size of your fabric as well, if you have little tiny pieces or thread, you might want to keep the stitching closer together. So it all depends on how big your pieces of fabric are. So I'm about to end use the portion where I'm using the walking foot, and I'm gonna start using the free motion embroidery foot. I did delete quite a bit of the footage just to save y'all from being from watching me sew and continue sewing. But basically, I just used different stitches and um, sewed as much as possible. Hi everybody. I'm still working on this cover in the tutorial, but here is the final outcome of it. Um, all I need to do now is wet it and dissolve that film that it has between um, the two pieces of film that's sandwiching. Is that how you say it? That it has between the fabric. Oh, man, I can't talk right. But anyways, here's the part of the fabric, part of the film, and I'm gonna just wash it by hand under the sink until I don't feel like it's kind of leaves like a slimy coat, kind of like soapy. I would say it's kind of like a soapy feeling. So I'll just put it under the kitchen sink or wherever you want to put it. I use the kitchen sink, and just wash, rinse, and then I let it dry, and then we'll see the final process or outcome. Here's both the other side. It looks a little wonky because it's not gonna come out straight, at least not for me, but I will show you how I crochet the final part after I dry. It's gonna probably take another day or so, so I apologize. You won't know because you're just gonna see the whole film all together, but yep, here it is. I've rinsed off all the plastic film, and here's all the pretty stitching, and I finally washed everything off. I'm sorry, I kind of trailed off. I washed everything off, and then I sewed around the edges to kind of reinforce. I didn't do it on the last one, but I'm doing it on this one to kind of reinforce the edges. I don't know if it's really necessary, but I guess it's never a bad idea. Sorry if that was too fast. It's the size of it here. Well, here's what it looks like, the whole piece, and it's the size. Let's see, it's 14.5 by a little bit less than 8.5. Well, no, depends. A little bit less than 8.5. And I kind of left it a little wonky, a little bit, or uneven, I should say, just to kind of give it a little more character. I think the next one I do, I'm not gonna trim it too much. I think I'm just gonna leave it with the edges all wobbly. I should have showed you, I believe, well, yeah, I should have probably left it as before. I should not have trimmed it, and here it is. So I trimmed it, and now I'm gonna start poking holes all the way around, and then I'm going to start crocheting the outer edge like the other one. So I don't know if y'all know how to crochet, but and I'm not sure if I would have to say watch a tutorial on how to crochet, because I'm not a very good instructor when it comes to teaching people how to crochet, but I will try to do my best. So now I'm gonna start working on putting holes in the fabric so I can go ahead and crochet, start crocheting the thread. This is what I'm using. It's just some yarn that I don't know if you want to call it yarn. I don't know. Yeah, I guess it's yarn. I got this at Hobby Lobby. No, actually, this used to belong to my mom. So I'm using my mom's thread that I found in the stash, and I mean in one of the containers my father gave me. So I'm going to use my ruler, my my Tim Holtz ruler. I forgot his name for a second there. I mean, how can we forget Tim Holtz, right? So I got my Tim Holtz ruler. I have a piece of cork board. How about we do it like this? This might work better. It's about 1/4 of an inch. I mean, it doesn't have to be perfect or precise. You just want it somewhat uniform though, because you don't want, I mean, it depends the look you're looking for, right? You might want it all, you want to crochet a little, have it kind of not straight, just however, but it's just depending on you. But this is working much better. Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, it's not coming out super straight, but I think it's fine. So y'all, I'm not gonna subject y'all to this whole punching hole thing, but I'm going to stop right here, and then I'm going to poke holes all the way around, and then I'm gonna start crocheting, and then I'll show you that part. So I'm starting to crochet. Well, I'm doing what I consider, I mean, I'm crocheting around, but it's kind of like a blanket stitch. I don't know if it has another name, but basically I'm just kind of doing a foundation stitch all the way around before I start doing the little shells in between each stitch, or whatever you want to call it. Yeah, I think it's a stitch. Anyway, so here I am. Just wanted to show you a little bit of what I'm doing. So basically, hopefully you can see. And I think I crochet a little weird, not the norm like most people. I know my mom crocheted differently than I did, and she tried to correct me several times, but I don't know, for some reason this is just how I do it. So here I am, and I inserted the needle into the next hole, and then I grabbed the thread, and then I pulled the thread through the 2 hoops, and then I'm going to do it again if I can find this is what's taking so long, is I have to find the next hole because it kind of hides within the fabric. I might have to go ahead and, there it is. I think that's it. Yeah. So here we go. Insert the needle or the hook, the crochet hook, and then pull the thread out. So you have 2 hoops. Sorry, 2 hoops. And then you pull it through. Okay. And that creates a place where I can start inserting, it creates a place where I can put my other needle or my other hook, and I could start making my shells through here. I wanted to show you this part because the end is kind of tricky. The corners are kind of tricky, so I'm going to continue doing this. I mean, you don't have to do it this way either. You can, I just lost my stitch. Okay, so you don't have to do it this way. You can do it with a needle, a blanket stitch with just a regular needle, but I thought this would be, I like the way this looks better and it's easier. And then I can just continue, I can just start crocheting around this method. The other method, I had to first do a blanket stitch, cut a thread long enough to go all the way around, and then I started to crochet. So to me it was like way too many steps and I didn't like the way it looked. Now I'm getting closer to the corner. This is gonna be interesting. Let me poke the hole right here. Another hole. Oops. Okay, not that many, right? Just one. There we go. So here I go into this corner, basically. I hope you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so here we are getting closer. And what I'm gonna do is I need to go around the corner. So I'm gonna use this same hole right here that I just went through. I am so sorry, this camera, this is just, I'm having a hard time seeing where I'm at. Okay, so I'm gonna go again through the same hole and then pull it out, pull the stitch out, and that did not work properly. Okay, that did not come out the way I wanted it to. So here we go again. Here we go. And do you see how I have the corner right there between the two hoops or loops? There we go. And then one more time, I'm gonna go in here, and that's to get it right over here. Let's see if you can see it now. How it's, I'm trying to get it to hug the corner. So there's 3 stitches basically in one hole. Oh my gosh, was I out of So basically I'm trying to, sorry you guys, how about that? So here I need to get, I'm trying to hug the corner like I did over here. This one kind of looks a lot better. And so there's 3 stitches. There's 1 here, 2, 3 in the same corner hole. Okay, and then you just continue going all the way around. I just wanted to show y'all all the way up to there because that can be kind of tricky. And that's why I prefer crocheting around to start a foundation, so I can start crocheting around, because I think it comes out nicer this way, as opposed to just using the one, and just instead of just doing a blanket stitch with 1 thread going around. But I mean, it's up to you. However, whatever's easier, whatever works for you. It's definitely, I think it's easier the other way than doing it this method. So I hope this helps. I will pick up again once I start getting ready to do the shells, or what I call the shells, around doing the more intricate looking crocheting stuff. All right, I'll be back. I wanted to show you my final journal, what I came up with, or how I've kind of decorated it and done it. It's a single signature and you know, I will do a video on this, but I wanted to show you how this current cover is supposed to look like and how I've kind of decorated. I didn't really do much to the cover because I think there's already plenty on the cover. I really do think it came out very nice. So I'm gonna go ahead and continue. I don't recall, it's been a while, so I don't recall what I've talked about, what kind of thread. I believe I did go over this thread that I'm currently using, which I used on this journal as well. So it's just a actually, I'm not sure what it is, but you could easily find this in Hobby Lobby. So I really do like it. Sorry for so many ums. And I did it again. Okay, so here is another option you can use, is DMC floss. Well, DMC brand. I don't know what number it is, but I'm pretty sure it's very common. You can find it very easily at Michael's and Hobby Lobby. It's very nice. I like it. It's kind of small though. But I'm sure it would make a very nice crocheting, edging, scallop edging, or shell stitching is what it's called. So originally, to do the outside part, I used a size 10 or 1.3 millimeter hook. So it's by Boy, I don't know how you say it. So it has a very small, it's pretty small hook, very fine for fine thread, but I used it, I used it with this one. So I've heard of people sharpening the hook to make it easy to pierce through fabric. So I did use my Tim Holtz piercing tool. I used that to make the holes all the way around, and then to finish off the crocheting I used a bigger hook, which is a 2.25 millimeter, and this one's by Clover, and it's padded and it's nice and comfy, and that's what I'm going to be using to finish the tutorial. So when I was done doing what I call, I believe it's called a single crochet, but to me it looks like a blanket stitch, so I call it a blanket stitch. Correct me if I'm wrong. If please do correct me if I'm wrong. I don't want to be giving people the wrong information. But I used this hook to do, the smaller hook to do all these stitches all the way around, which I show. And then I'm gonna use this hook to do the scallop edging. So, but when I finished doing the crochet around, I just continued into, so I apologize that I did not record that. I kind of got a little excited. I just kept going because I wanted to hurry up and finish this, but not remembering that I had to record it. So here I am. So I'm going to go ahead and show you what I do. So here is, I did a single crochet, and so okay, let's repeat that. Let me go over some things real quick. Let me put my handy dandy fancy safety pin, which holds my stitches. So here you can see, I hope you can see that there's a top stitch, right? There's the blanket stitch, and then there's a top part, and it has two loops through, and I use those to do my crocheting in. So I do, here's two. I'm going to do 5 double crochets in this next one right here. And then I'm going to do single crochet, one single crochet, another single crochet, and then again I'm going to repeat 5 double crochets, single crochet, and double, and I just go on and on until I finish. And this, I put 2 single crochets to give me a little room in between. Now, is that proper crocheting? I don't know, but I will add a tutorial that I found very useful. She still does it a little bit different than I do, but for the most part, it's kind of the same. It's the same thing. You get the same, basically the same result, but I like putting that single crochet in between each one. I don't know why, I just do. I find it looks a little nicer to me. So I'm going to go ahead and start doing the 5 double crochets, and I'm going to show you how I do it, which the video that I am going to add will also. So I believe it's calling yarn over. I don't know what the exact term is, but you basically, oops, sorry. Here I am. I inserted, I still have my crochet hook attached, and then I'm going to go ahead and loop the thread, sorry, and put it into where the stitch is, and then pull it through, right? And I know there's some of y'all that know how to crochet, so I apologize, but this is, I'm trying to, I'm not good at teaching people how to crochet, so I'm trying my bestest here. So that's 1 double crochet, and then that's the 2nd double crochet. So that's 1. So now I'm going to do the 2nd one again. I'm going to yarn over, and then I'm going to put the hook through the stitch, and then I'm going to pull another piece. I'm going to pull some yarn through, and then I see how I'm left with 3. Then I'm going to pull through, and then I have 2 loops, and then I'm going to pull through again, and that's the 2 double crochets, and that's the 2nd one. So now I'm going to do the 3rd one, and then I'm going to do the same thing, and then pull through, and it looks like I have 3 loops right there. But then when I pull through the first 2, that leaves me with another double crochet. So that's number 3. So this one's 4. And pull through the first 2. And then the last 2. Oops, now I lost count. That was 1, 2, 3, 4. So now I'm doing number 5. And you loop over again. Let me pull this a little bit closer. And I hold the thread kind of weird too. I do a lot of things differently. And that's 2 right there. Pull through, pull another thread, another loop out, and then pull for the first 2 and then the last 2. Okay, and now that's all in one stitch, mind you, that's 5 in 1. And then I'm going to do single crochet on that one. And with the single crochet, you don't have to loop over first. I just put the hook through the next stitch and then pull. Now, I hope I'm doing that correctly. Yeah, I should be. And then you yarn through, pull through the thread, and there you go. And that's 2 single crochets. And then again, I will start with doing 5. So first, get some yarn, get some yarn, and then put the needle through the stitch, and then pull through. Leaves you with 2. And then you pull through the first 2. And then the last 2. And then again. And so you just keep doing that until you're completely done. But hopefully, if you didn't know how to crochet, hopefully I taught you how to crochet. If you knew how to crochet, I apologize for you know, assuming you don't know how to crochet, or calling all the, not being, you know, calling all the terms incorrectly. And yeah, I'm not very familiar. It takes me a while to learn. My mom taught me how to crochet, and I'm sure she had a hard time teaching me, because I'm kind of I have a hard time learning things the first time, so it takes me a while to get things, and I have to practice until I can get it right. So what happened was, I got deployed while active duty in the military. I got deployed, I went to Afghanistan, and to kind of find a way to distract my mind, I decided to learn how to crochet, even to improve my crocheting, because I just knew the basic stitch. I never finished anything, like I never finished a scarf or anything. And yeah, I have a lot of projects that I've started with crocheting and never continued. So I decided, well, I have some time, let me do something that'll kind of ease my mind. And I did. And 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm sorry, I'm counting I'm talking and crocheting, and I can't do 2 things at the same time. So here we go. I believe this was the last one. So let me count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5, and then 2 single crochets. So here I am with the final product. I finished crocheting all the way around, and now I just have these loose ends. I kept them kind of long, but I'm gonna just sew them into the crochet part, so onto the other shells. So basically I'm just gonna sew it into wherever I feel like, you know, I can either hide it into and disguise it as part of the crochet portion, and you know, also I want to make sure that it's secure enough that it's not going to come apart on somebody, you know, while they're using it and sewing, you know, journaling. And I don't, you know, I want it to be a product that's going to last a long time. So I'm just putting it in through the other crochet shells, or scalloped edging if you want. I apologize for the lighting. I'm right by a window and it's kind of bright. You might be able to see. the blinds open, so I'm gonna just tie it off right here. And that's it. That is the finished product. I hope this tutorial was useful and you enjoyed it. And if you do, please subscribe, like, and share. I appreciate all that. I thank y'all for watching. I thank my current subscribers, my new subscribers, and I hope this was fun. It might have been a little too long, and I apologize. I will do my best to edit as much out of it so it's not as long. So thank you so much, and that's it. Bye.